refrain from discussing position of rulers. Over 3,500 companies participated in Payung Rahmah. Salam Malaysia Madani, you're watching Malaysia Tonight with me, Otto Othman. Now, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim today announced that Datuk Seri Amiruddin Syari will be retained as Menteri Besar if the unity government in Selangor stays in power after the state election next month. Elaborating further on the matter, the Premier said the decision to retain the Sungai Tua incumbent as the Menteri Besar was made due to his performance in governing the state, which has resulted in Selangor being in the top position in the country's economic growth.
Wah, kalau pertumbuhan ekonomi kita suku tahun pertama dan Selangor nombor 1. Sebab itu kita cadang untuk kekalkan Amiruddin sebagai Menteri Besar.
Speaking at the launching of the state-level Sentuhan Agro-Madani program, Datuk Seri Anwar said that Selangor needs to continue to be led by the unity government to remain strong and ensure that all state plans are implemented in line with that of the federal government. Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Amiruddin said he was honoured for the trust given to him and pleaded to continue working hard for the state. The Selangor PH chairman and Sungai Tua assemblyman was sworn in as the 16th Selangor Menteri Besar at Istana Alam Shah on 19th June 2018. On another note, the Premier called on all parties to refrain from turning matters relating to the position and role of Malay rulers into unhealthy political dialogue. Now, instead, he said the monarchy institution should be protected and respected by all. As such, the Premier also called on the public to really understand the charges imposed on Kedah Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Muhammad Sanusi Muhammad Noor under the Sedition Act 1948 today and respect the court process.
Dan saya minta orang teliti apa dia pendawaannya. Pertama tentunya apa dia laporan Dewan Diraja Selangor dan kemudian apa alasan Peguam Negara melihat daripada pendakwaan setelah siasatan oleh Puri Diraja. Jadi biar kita hormat proses mahkamah.
Earlier today, Datuk Seri Muhammad Sanusi was charged at 2 sessions courts with 2 counts of inciting the public over his remarks on the appointment of the Selangor Menteri Besar and the establishment of the unity government in a political talk last week. On both charges, the Menteri Besar was alleged to have committed acts that had seditious tendency by uttering words that have a tendency to raise discontent or dissatisfaction among the subjects of a ruler. A total of 3,557 companies have participated in the Payung Rahmah initiative thus far. This, according to latest statistics. Now, meanwhile, 2,995 Rahmah menus have been prepared nationwide. Minister of Domestic Trade and Cost of Living, KPDN, Datuk Seri Salahuddin Ayub, stated that this proves the government's efforts to address the cost of living issue have received support from industry players.
As for now, I'm very glad to say that this initiative has been supported by all the major companies and industrial players in this country. For example, McDonald's, KFC, Burger King, then Mary Brown, Ikuti, Lotus, 99 Speed Marks, and many to come.
Furthermore, he said KPDN is always committed to ensuring that the entire population is protected and not burdened by the rising cost of living in this challenging situation. He said this after launching the Payung Rahmah initiative together with AirAsia Super App in Kuala Lumpur today. Capital A Berhad is offering 3 initiatives through AirAsia Super App as part of their support for the Payung Rahmah initiative, including a promotional fare of only RM1 for AirAsia ride. An allocation of 1.45 million ringgit was channeled to the Petaling Jaya City Council or MBPJ through the Local Government Development KPKT Ministry's Sentuhan Kasih program to implement 3 projects aimed at upgrading public facilities for the well-being of the people. Minister concerned Ngan Kuo Ming stated that the allocation will be dispersed immediately to ensure that the upgrading works can be carried out promptly.
Pertama, 350,000 untuk naik taraf tandas awam dan kerja-kerja berkaitan di Taman Rimba Riang di sini. Taman ini menjadi tumpuan aktiviti riadah bagi masyarakat setempat. Yang kedua, 550,000 untuk naik taraf bumbung serta kerja-kerja berkaitan di Dewan Komuniti MPBJ Jalan Nuri. Ketiga, 550,000 juga untuk naik taraf serta kerja-kerja yang berkaitan di Gerai Selela Impian di Jalan Nuri, Seksyen 7, Kota Damansara. Jumlahnya 1.45 juta ringgit sebagai sentuhan kasih KPKT kepada MPPJ.
He said this to reporters after inaugurating the elevator upgrading project and conducting a walkabout session at Project Perumahan Rakyat PPR Kota Damansara near Petaling Jaya today. During the event, a total of 12 elevator units have been completed and replaced in 4 blocks of PPR at a cost of 3.7 million ringgit under the allocation from the federal government through the Housing Maintenance Program. The allocation is an initiative to ensure the well-being and safety of the residents. An online textile seller has pleaded not guilty to a charge of possessing 2 counterfeit currency notes worth 200 ringgit with the intention of using them. Chiu Chuan Wang, 24, claimed trial after the charges were read to him in Mandarin by the court interpreter before Magistrate Azurin Sahira Saufi Effendi at the Julai Magistrates Court today. According to the charge sheet, the accused, with another suspect still at large, was found in possession of 2 counterfeit 100 ringgit notes and had the intention of passing them off as genuine. The act was allegedly conducted at 4 p.m. on July 1st at a petrol station at Batu 21 in Julai. The act is an offence under Section 489C of the Penal Code, read together with Section 34 of the same legislation, which carries a maximum penalty of 10 years in jail if convicted. DPP Edlin Wong prosecuted, while the accused was represented by Omar Kuti Abdulaziz. Wong requested bail of 15,000 ringgit as the accused could be a flight risk given that another suspect was still at large. The court then set bail at 4,000 ringgit with 1 surety and set 22nd August for next mention. The accused posted bail. Still ahead, China tackles Typhoon Talim aftermath. U.S. climate envoy John Kerry said that global warming represents a threat to all of mankind and requires global leadership as he met Chinese officials in Beijing. U.S. climate envoy John Kerry met China's top diplomat Wang Yi in Beijing as part of his visit to the Chinese capital to rebuild mutual trust and restart momentum in joint efforts to combat climate change.
Our hope is now that this can be the beginning of a new definition of cooperation and of capacity to resolve the differences between us. We both know there are real differences, but we also know that from experience, if we work at it, we can find the path ahead in ways that resolve these challenges.
Kerry's 3rd visit to China as the United States climate envoy marks the formal resumption in top-level climate diplomacy between the 2 countries. The former Secretary of State is the 3rd top U.S. official to visit Beijing in the past month. On a related note, firefighters assisted fallen scooter riders and victims trapped in an overturned vehicle while trees fell after Typhoon Talim made its way across China's southern provinces on Tuesday. Talim, the first typhoon to make landfall in China this year, struck the coast late on Monday night in Guangdong province, quickly weakening into a tropical storm. Overnight, it moved into Beibu Gulf, and by early Tuesday, it had made a second landfall and moved into southern Guangxi region. Nearly 230,000 people in Guangdong have been evacuated on Monday before the storm struck, state-run Xinhua news agency reported. Wind speeds had fallen to a maximum 90 kilometers per hour near Talim's center as of 8 a.m. local time on Tuesday, according to China's Meteorological Administration. The storm is expected to further weaken and dissipate as it moves into northern Vietnam. Southern China has been hit by Typhoon Talim, and at the same time, it is dealing with heat waves in the north. Australian sailor Tim Shaddock and his dog have been rescued by a Mexican ship after 2 months adrift in the Pacific Ocean, surviving the ordeal by drinking rainwater and snacking on raw fish. Tim Shaddock and his dog Bella set off in a catamaran from Mexico's seaside city of La Paz in April and planned to sail about 6,000 kilometers before dropping anchor in tropical French Polynesia. But they soon found themselves stranded in the vast Pacific Ocean after rough seas damaged the vessel and knocked out its electronics. In an unlikely rescue reminiscent of the Tom Hanks movie Castaway, the bedraggled amateur yachtsman was plucked from the water 2 months later by a Mexican tuna trawler. Shaddock and Bella would soon be ferried back to Mexico. A barge which will house asylum seekers arrived in its final destination on England's southern coast as part of efforts to reduce the use of costly hotels and temporary accommodation while asylum claims are being processed. The vessel, the BB Stockholm, will be berthed in Portland Port in Dorset and will accommodate 500 single adult males, according to Britain's Interior Ministry. The barge has undergone refitting in the Cornish town of Falmouth since arriving in the UK earlier in the year. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has made cracking down on illegal migration one of his top priorities ahead of an election expected next year, and has set out plans to bar the entry of asylum seekers arriving in small boats across the channel. Coming up in sports, ex-national coach Satyanathan dies of cancer. Stay with us. We begin with a somber development in the local football scene. Former Harimau Malaya coach B. Satyanathan died today after almost a year-long battle with cancer. He was 65. The news was confirmed by the Football Association of Malaysia FAM Media Communications and Public Relations Committee Chairman Christopher Raj, who said Satyanathan died at 1:25 p.m. today at the University of Malaya Medical Center. He was fighting cancer for almost a year and was hospitalized for the past 2 to 3 months. Meanwhile, FAM conveyed its deepest condolences to his family. Satyanathan was also the Malaysian Football Coaches Association PJBM president. His greatest achievement was successfully leading the under-23 squad B23 to the 2007 Merdeka tournament title and being appointed the head coach of Harimau Malaya until early 2009. Satyanathan had to take a break from coaching after undergoing cancer treatment last year. A veteran United States star Kelly O'Hara was close to tears as she contemplated the upcoming World Cup being Megan Rapinoe's last, vowing Tuesday to send the women's football icon out on a high. The 38-year-old Rapinoe, who is also well known for her off-field activism, will retire at the end of the season, bringing the curtain down on a 17-year career in which she has twice won the World Cup. Rapinoe and the United States are chasing an unprecedented third World Cup crown in a row. The forward is a former winner of the Ballon d'Or and the Best FIFA Women's Player Awards. Members of the U.S. women's national team hit the training pitch in an Auckland suburb on Tuesday, days before they kick off their campaign in the prestigious tournament. The team includes an array of newcomers, including Sophia Smith, Trinity Rodman, and Alisa Thompson, and veterans such as Alex Morgan and Megan Rapinoe. Rapinoe recently announced that the 2023 tournament, her fourth World Cup, would be her last, as she plans to retire at the end of the National Women's Soccer League season this year. The World Cup kicks off on Thursday with co-hosts New Zealand taking on Norway. The United States on Saturday face outsiders Vietnam to open their title defense. Novak Djokovic has been fined $8,000 after smashing his racket against the net post during Sunday's men's singles final at Wimbledon. The All England Lawn Tennis Club has confirmed the 36-year-old has been hit with the penalty for racket abuse during his defeat by Spain's Carlos Alvarez. Djokovic allowed his frustration to show after failing to break Alcaraz and then losing his own service game during the decisive fifth set as an enthralling contest on centre court. Umpire Fergus Murphy, who had earlier pulled up the Serbian for a time violation, immediately issued a warning for a code violation. Djokovic's disappointment grew as the 20-year-old world number one took full advantage to seal a 1-6, 7-6, 6-1, 3-6, 6-4 victory after 4 hours and 42 minutes. In the process, he denied his illustrious opponents a 24th Grand Slam title and an 8th at Wimbledon.
Tiada jalan mudah untuk berjaya dan tiada jalan mudah untuk bahagia. Jadi buang tabiat tidak baik untuk berjaya dan bahagia. Buang perangai kita yang ingin mengambil hati orang. Buang gaya hidup buruk yang tak sihat.
Coming up next on our business segment, Tanjung Ballim to become region's largest auto city. Chinese automobile manufacturer Geely will invest $10 billion to turn Tanjung Ballim, Perak into the region's largest auto city. Now, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said the inspiration conveyed by the company in a letter to him last night would create thousands of jobs opportunities for Malaysians.
Ini kali pertama saya nak sebut ni, Geely. Itu Amerika. Geely ini yang buat dengan Proton. Dia tulis saya 10 halaman muka surat panjang. Bagi tahu dia nak teruskan, nak jadikan Tanjung Ballim sebagai kota automobil, kereta yang terbesar di rantau ini. Dan dia akan mula dengan $10 billion, mana 40 bilion ringgit. Untuk apa? Untuk saya ambil komisen? Untuk saya terima hadiah, atau untuk jamin ekonomi kita naik, ribuan anak-anak kita dapat kerja.
Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Anwar, who is also finance minister, said the Saudi Arabian government and the kingdom's oil and gas ONG giant Aramco will focus its investment and operational expansion in Malaysia. He said Aramco Chief Executive Officer Amin Nasser informed him that Aramco is comfortable with the government's policies and leadership and has decided to make Malaysia the hub for Saudi Arabia's ONG expansion in Southeast Asia. The Premier also noted that Malaysia has recorded commendable economic performance with a 5.6% growth in the first quarter of 2023, which compared favorably against China, Singapore and Indonesia. He said in his speech at the Selangor State Level Sentuhan Agro Madani program in Sekinchan today. The Rural and Regional Development Ministry KKDW is considering reviewing the salary scheme for educators at the Mara Institute of Education. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said that although their current salary scheme was similar to that of the Education Ministry, there were some loopholes that caused certain groups to be marginalized. Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid, who is also Rural and Regional Development Minister, said Mara Chairman Datuk Dr. Ashraf Wajdi Dusuki has been entrusted with the responsibility to look into the matter.
Selagi saya berada di KKDW, saya komited untuk memperjuangkan nasib saudara-saudari. Saya berikan pertanggungjawaban ini kepada pengurusi MARA.
The Deputy Premier noted that he had issued an instruction on the matter. However, there was no meeting held yet, and he will follow up on this after the state elections. Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid said this after officiating the 2023 MARA Educator Awards Day today at the Federal Capital. Well, the Ministry of Finance, MOF, is confident its target of 60% of budget 2023 spending could be achieved by next month to support the government's aim to expedite the implementation of projects for the rakyat's benefit. Deputy Finance Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Mazlan said the ministry has channeled the allocation announced in Budget 2023 to the agencies and ministries involved.
Kita yakin dia akan tercapai sebab segala wang yang sepatutnya diturunkan yang patut mengikut tempoh itu sudah pun diberikan kepada semua kementerian dan agensi. Yang untuk OE mudahlah, yang kita ingin tumpukan ni untuk DE. OE itu sentiasa lah setiap bulan kena bayar kan, ya, kena bayar gaji, kena bayar penyelenggaraan, maintenance dan lain-lain itu sentiasa dibuat secara berkala. Ia tidak sukar untuk dibelanjakan. Yang jadi kesukaran perbelanjaan ini ialah mengenai development expenditure ataupun peruntukan untuk pembangunan. Itu yang kita nak teliti sungguh-sungguh supaya segalanya dipermudahkan dan dipercepatkan. Pada ketika yang sama, tata kelola governance sentiasa dilakukan.
At the Budget 2024 engagement session last Friday, the Prime Minister, who is also Finance Minister, Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, in his speech said he wanted 60% of the budget 2023 to be spent by August. He said as of June 2023, a total of 188 billion ringgit or 49% of the 2023 budget had been spent. Budget 2023 allocates a total of 388.1 billion ringgit, comprising 289.1 billion ringgit for operating expenditure and 99 billion ringgit for development expenditure, including 2 billion ringgit in contingency savings. Datuk Seri Ahmad further hoped that no agencies or ministries would return the allocated funds under Budget 2023 to the MOF. The special treatment accorded by the Strategic Investor Pass, or SIP, for investors to enter Malaysia on a multiple entry basis is expected to gain a positive re-rating of Malaysia's attractiveness to foreign investors. Sunway University Professor of Economics, Professor Ya Kim Leng, said that through the facilitation, the SIP would enhance the investors' positive perception of the country's investment climate. On 14th July, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim announced the government would actively issue the SIP, which enables investors to stay in the country for a minimum of 5 years, with a view towards a further 5-year extension. Professor Ya said the SIP was one of several key facilitation measures mounted by the government to regain the country's leading position as a destination of choice. He said it is also a welcome and forward-looking initiative given the intensifying competition for foreign direct investment, trade, talent and capital in the region. The Premier also announced that the government planned to expand the scope of the Digital Nomad Professional Visit Pass to cover manufacturing-related skills. MIDF Research has maintained a neutral call on the property sector with a positive bias. In its sector update today, the research house said the rebound in loan applications and loans approved data for property purchase in May 2023 is slightly positive to the property sector. This is due to the demand for property remains supported, while the new property sales outlook for developers is expected to be better. Total loans approved for the purchase of property jumped by 18% month-on-month in May 2023, reversing a decline of 17% month-on-month in April 2023. The higher approved loan in May 2023 was mainly underpinned by the higher loan applications in May 2023, which was partially cushioned by a lower percentage of total approved loan over the total applied loan of 44.8% in May 2023. Its top picks for the sector are Masing Group and Glomac Berhad, which are given buy calls with a target price of 78 sen and 43 sen respectively. For Glomac, the research house sees a better earnings outlook in the financial year ending 31st December 2024 or FY 2024, which would be driven by higher progress billing. It added that new sales prospect is better for FY 2024 due to launches of a key project in Puchong, Selangor and projects at its townships. Sarawak expects to achieve 24.6 million ringgit in total economic impact from hosting the International Congress for Tropical Medicine and Malaria, or ICTMM 2024, to be held from 19th to 23rd September next year. In a statement released today, Business Event Sarawak, B Sarawak, said from the figure 13.4 million ringgit would be derived from direct delegate expenditure, and the event is expected to create 1,952 jobs through organizing and hosting the Congress. Its Chief Executive Officer, Amelia Rosiman, said Sarawak's business events industry places high value on collaborations and hopes that hosting the ICTMM will drive advancements in Malaysia and Asia's tropical medicine industry. Additionally, the ICTMM 2024 would enable the state to continue establishing itself as a leading hub in Malaysia for advancing public health medicine while marking the nation's debut as a host for one of the world's leading congresses in tropical medicine and malaria. Jointly organized by the International Federation of Tropical Medicine and Malaria and the Malaysian Society of Parasitology and Tropical Medicine, or MSPTM, the Congress will be held concurrently with the MSPTM Conference 2024 and the 10th ASEAN Congress on Tropical Medicine and Parasitology. And that's it from us this evening. In our top story, refrain from discussing position of rulers. Join us for updates at noon, at 12:30 tomorrow on TV2 and MyTV's Berita RTM channel. I'm Otto Othman, Malaysia Madani, Tekad Perpaduan Penuhi Harapan. Thanks for watching and good evening.